Welcome to a new video. In this video we are going to do a data analysis project on a Kaggle dataset. I'm going to add the dataset's link in the description of this video so you can download it and write the codes with me. We are going to do data analysis and data visualization applications in this video, and we can directly start. Let's start by importing the libraries we are going to use. We are going to use pandas and matplotlib, so I'm going to import pandas as pd and I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Then we are going to load the dataset. For that we will say data is going to be equal to the pandas.read.csv and movie profit CSV. We can check is everything looking good with our data frame, like we can just use data.head for displaying the first 5 entry. We can see that we have a column named unnamed. I think it's an index column. It's not a problem. It doesn't have to have a name. And we have realized date, movie, production budget, domestic gross, worldwide gross, distributor, rating, and genre. And as we can see, we both have numeric and non-numeric values in our columns. So I think this is a really good data set since we also have a date in here. Also, if you want to see the last 5 instead of first 5, you can just go with tail and you are going to see the last 5 entry. And if you, let's say, you want to see 3 entries, so you can add 3 into parentheses and you are going to see the first 3 rows. Actually, we can start by dropping this column since we are not going to use that. How we can check its name is we can just say data columns and you are going to see it's unnamed 0. I'm going to directly copy that and I will say data.drop and I will say columns and I will directly write this and run this like this. And you are going to see we don't have unnamed 0 in here. But one problem that if I call the original data frame again, like let's do it in here, data.head, we are going to see that we will still have that column because we didn't assign this. We didn't modify the original data frame. So how we can do that is we can say data equals to data drop columns, or there is a better way, I use that more. You can just say in place equals to true. And if you do that, you are going to see your original data frame is going to be updated and you won't have that column. Okay, let's get general information about our dataset using .info. So for that we will say dataframe.info, and when we run this cell we are going to get the general information about our dataset. Also we assigned it as data, so I need to run like this, and here we can see our data types, our non-null values, and memory usage and information like that. I think we have add of missing values more than 100 or 200. Let's just check it, like data is null, and if you run this you are going to get booleans like this, and if you just use sum with this you are going to get the counts by column. So we have 137 in here, 48 in here. Let's just drop them and move like this. Let's start by checking our column count, row count. We have 3400 columns and we can just drop 200 of them. It's not going to be a big deal, I think, in this data set. So I'm going to say data drop NA, and again if I run like this, this is not going to modify the original data frame. Like if I write data is NA sum, it's going to show NA values in here still, but if I add in place equals to true, it's going to modify the original data frame and we are not going to get our NA values right now. Let's also check for the duplicates. Data duplicated. Again, if you do that, you are going to get booleans like this, and if you say sum, you will get the count of the duplicated rows, and we don't have any. Great. Let's get the descriptive statistics for the numerical columns. For that, I will say data.describe. Here it is. And here we can see that we all have scientific numbers since these numbers are too large. And we can move on. Let's just recall our data and let's sort this data set by production budget, I think. Okay. I was thinking we can do also domestic gross, but let's go with production budget. So we will say data sort values, and we can say production budget. And if we want to set the sorting as ascending, we can set ascending as true and run like this, and you are going to see that it's going to be sorted in the ascending order. And if you want to get them in the descending order, you can just change this to false, and you can get that in descending order. But again, it's not going to modify the original sorting of the data frame, and you are going to see that when you call data like this, it's just randomly sorted. Like, you can just say true in here, and our original data frame is not going to change because it's originally sorted in the descending order. But if you say in place equals true in here, you're going to see that our original data frame sorting is going to change to the ascending like this. And again, if you just remove this and you change this to false and you do run this, we are going to see that our original data frame is not going to change. Okay, let's leave it like this in the ascending order, and we can do a value counts right now. Let's say data and genre and use value counts like this, and we can see what we have in here. We mostly have the drama, we lastly got the horror, and great. Let's group our data by the rating and calculate the mean domestic gross by rating. So for that, we will say data group by, and we will say rating, and I'm going to say domestic gross, and we will use that mean like this. By the way, I have literally no idea about these ratings. I don't know the rating system, but I can say that this one is the winner because this plus 07s are same and this has the 8 values, so this is the highest. You can just check the scientific numbers like that. Also, you can use sort value with this group by operation. Like if you just say sort values, and now it's sorted in descending order, and if you just set ascending as true, you are going to see it's going to be reversed like this. And also you can use other methods, like you can just say head 2 for just displaying the this 2 in here, like you are going to get this 2. Okay, let's visualize the distribution of worldwide gross. So for that we will say plt.histogram, and we will say data worldwide gross, and let's give it a title like distribution of worldwide gross, and let's say X label is going to be worldwide gross, and Y label is going to be frequency, and we are going to use plt.show at the end, and here it is. Let's create a bar plot for the date, and let's take the values of domestic gross. So for that we will say plt.bar, and we are going to say data realize date, and I will use .head because it's going to be too much and too complex if I don't use it. Maybe it won't represent the data good, but I'm just going to use it because I want my chart to look good, and I'm going to do that in other charts too. If you want a better representation of the data, you can just use the full data, but it's going to seem too complex if you do like that. So keep that in mind. Date domestic gross, and we can just say for the X label date, and for the Y label we can say domestic gross, and we can use plt.show in here. And here it is. Okay, let's do some group bys. Let's group our data by distributor and calculate the sum of worldwide gross. So for that we can say data group by, we are going to group by the distributor, and we are going to take the values of worldwide gross, and we will use that sum. and we have an error. I think it's a key error. Yeah, worldwide gross not found. I need to use lowercase g, and here it is. So as I said, you can manipulate this. Like if you want to find the maximum of this, you can just write max and you will get the maximum value. Or what you can do is you can just say had to for getting the first two entries in here, but they're not the highest or lowest two. For sorting them in this way, you can just use dot sort values, and you can just set ascending as false if you want it in descending order, and you are going to see that it's going to get sorted perfectly. Okay, let's group our data by genre and calculate mean of production budget. Data group by genre. Actually, I'm not sure about the spelling of this, and I'm not sure if I'm telling its name truly. Like it can be something else. I checked multiple resources for the pronunciation of this, and I am not sure about it. So if I'm saying it wrongly, I'm sorry for that. And we will say dot mean here. Great, let's group our data by rating and calculate the median of domestic gross. For that we will say data group by, and we are going to group by rating this time, and then we are going to do domestic gross, and we will use dot median this time. I'm trying to use different things like median, mean, we can use maximum in others, and here it is. Okay, let's group our data by date, year-wise, and calculate total count of movies realized each year. So for that we will say data group by and data date, and we are going to say string, and we will use slice, then we will say 0 and 4, then we are going to say movie dot mean. Actually, I'm sorry, dot count, and here it is. Actually, this is not year wise, so we can just do 4 and 8 instead of this for getting the year based like this. Actually, we don't have still, we just need to remove one more or two more. Let's go with 6, and I think this time, yeah, it looks great. The information we wanted. So let's just get the sorted version of this, and let's get this in descending order, and we can see it clearly. And let's do dot head for not seeing this much entry in here. And here it is. Great. So the most releases in the 2000. Okay, let's group by genre and find maximum domestic gross. For that we will say data group by, and we will say genre, then we will say domestic gross, and we will use dot maximum this time, as I said earlier. Here it is. Let's group our data by rating again and find the minimum production budget. So for that we will say group by again, and we will say rating, then we will say production budget, and we will use dot minimum like this. And now let's group our data by distributor and calculate average worldwide gross. So we can just do group by distributor, and we can say worldwide gross dot mean. Also, I think we didn't do anything with standard deviation, so let's just do a thing with that. Let's group by rating again, I remember that one, and take the values of worldwide gross, and this time we'll use STD for standard deviation. Also you can use VAR for the variance, and here we go. Okay, let's do some more visualizations and then finish our analysis. So let's create a bar chart for genre against the sum of production budget. So we will say data group by, and we will say genre, then we will say production budget, and we will use sum, then we will say dot plot, and we are going to send the kind as bar. Then we are going to add this a title as total production budget by genre. And then we are going to say X label is going to be genre and Y label is going to be total production budget actually, and we can just use plt.show after that, and here it is. We can see that the winner is action. Okay. Okay, let's create a line chart for the date year-wise against the mean of worldwide growth. So for that we will say data group by, then we will say realize date, and what we are going to do is we are going to use dot string again, then we will say slice, and we learned it's 6 and 8 by trying. Actually it can change with the change in your date type. In this data set it's going to be stable for your work, and if you use other data sets, if the year is represented as 4 digits, we are going to change that. And then we are going to do worldwide growth and mean, then we will say plot again, and we are going to set the kind as line. Then we will say title and mean worldwide growth over years. And in the next step we will say X label is going to be realize year, and Y label is going to be mean worldwide growth, and we will use plt.show again. Here it is. I think it's a nice graph that shows a lot of information, and we can just move to the next one. Let's create a simple pie chart for rating against the sum of domestic growth. So for that we will say data group by rating, and we will take the values of domestic growth and we will use that sum, then we will use that plot, and we are going to set the kind as pi, and then let's give it a title like total domestic growth by rating, and let's use plt.show. Here it is. So there is an unnecessary Y label in here. How we can remove that is you can just say plt.ylabel, and then you are just going to create 2 quotes like this, and when you rerun this you are going to see that the Y label is going to be not in here. Okay, let's create a scatter plot for production budget against worldwide growth. So let's just do data.plot, and we will say kind is going to be equal to the scatter, then we will set the X as production budget and Y as worldwide growth, and let's give it a title like scatter plot of production budget versus worldwide growth, and let's set the X label as production budget and Y label as worldwide growth, and use plt.show at the end. Here it is. Let's create one last plot. Let's plot a horizontal bar chart for distributor against the mean of domestic growth. So for that I will say data group by, and then I will say distributor, and I will take the values of domestic growth. Actually I need to use it lowercase, then I will do dot mean and dot head because I don't want it to be too complex. Then I will say dot plot, and I will set the kind as bar, but since I want horizontal one I will just add a hash in here. Then I will say plt.title, and I will say average domestic growth by distributor, And let's set an X label like average domestic gross and Y label as distributor. And we will use plt.show at the end. And here it is. And this was all for our analysis. We did a lot of data analysis and visualization applications in this video, and I think it's enough for this video. Thanks for watching it. I'm creating content about data science and programming. You can subscribe to my channel for more. I have more than 20 data science projects and more than 10 machine learning and data analysis projects in my channel. You can just check my channel's playlist page for reaching them, and you can benefit from them if you're learning data analysis or if you want to build out your portfolio for applying for the jobs, and they are all free. You can just check them out. Thanks for watching again and have a great day.